On this episode of Road Trip Masters, I cruise into a place that was known as the town that once saved Christmas, and travel to the Grand Canyon that is located on the East Coast. I'll get my cowboy on, so I just hang on to both of these. Hit the lumber trail.
Nothing but ambiance here and education.
And chow down at a restaurant that has been owned and operated for 3 generations.
I love what I saw on the menu. Medium well. Order chicken.
So sit back, relax, and let me do the driving right here on Road Trip Masters. I'm Nick Kessler.
And I'm Brian Fulmer.
We're teachers that have a passion for travel.
Cruising the highways and byways in our 1968 drop-top caddy.
We discover the places and people that make this nation great. We are Road Trip Masters. On this week's episode, I'm riding solo. So as Brian enjoys his time out west with his family, I'm traveling to the north-central part of Pennsylvania, to the town of Wellsboro. Settled in 1806 and incorporated in 1830, Wellsboro is located in Tioga County and was named in honor of Mary Wells, who was the wife of one of the original settlers, Benjamin Wister Morris. Wellsboro was also the site of the first factories where light bulbs were mass-produced. But before I explored this area some more, it was only appropriate that I set up base camp at one of the historic landmarks in these parts, the iconic Penn Wells Hotel and Lodge.
Claire, driving through Pennsylvania on Route 15, I got such a great sense of calm that I never had before. And next thing you know, I get off the exit ramp, I'm headed towards Wellsboro, and I pull into this absolutely stunning main street. And here we are at the Penn Wells Hotel. Tell us a little bit about it.
So the original structure here on this corner that we're standing in right now was built in 1869. But this lobby was completely redesigned in 1926. South American mahogany, the tile floor, the light fixtures, all are from that original remodel in 1926, even the fireplace.
But you also have that dining room.
The dining room's a great place here. It has been an integral part of this community pretty much since the building opened.
Not only do you have that classic lobby, but you got this beautiful American flag. Made out of what?
Made out of Christmas ornaments.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they were all made right here in Wellsboro.
Huh. Things don't change much at Wellsboro, do they?
The good things stay the same. The things that need to change, we change.
How many rooms do you have here at the main hotel?
So right now we have about 60 rooms available for guests. Originally there would have been about 100 rooms, but modern guests want things a little bit different than they did in 1926. So some of them now have combinations of the bedroom and a sitting room. So you have a choice of queens, kings, or 2 double beds.
So Claire, I said the main hotel, but you have another building not far away.
So in the 1950s, everybody wanted to travel in their fancy cars. Motels came into fashion. So the hotel company built the Penn Wells Motel. That's morphed over the years. It's now the Penn Wells Lodge, and that has just about 80 rooms available. Between the 2 buildings, we have something for just about everyone. Main Street, Wellsboro, is famous, first of all, for its gas lights. We've had gas lights on Main Street since 1929, and the existing lights went up in 1968. We like to say in Wellsboro, the lights are always on. Within just a few blocks of our hotel, there are multiple restaurants, lots of mom and pop shops. In fact, Wellsboro doesn't have a single store that is a large chain. Everything on our main street is mom and pop.
This sums up what Road Trip Masters is all about. I never felt such a sense of comfort coming into a town and checking in to this beautiful hotel. Claire, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
After establishing my digs at the Penn Wells, my next stop was literally just across the street and not even a block down the road to the Steakhouse, a restaurant that has been in business since 1957 and has never left the family for 3 generations.
All right, Andor, I think you're the first Andor I've ever met in my life. I love the name. Tell us what we're going to experience today here at the Steakhouse.
We're gonna do a version of a surf and turf, a grilled filet mignon, and we're gonna do pan-seared scallops for you. Basically, what you wanna do is you wanna take your filet. It's already been hand cut, ready to go. We're gonna start it on the grill. Now what we have here is what we call a glaze. And basically what we do is we glaze the steak as it's cooking so that it imparts flavor.
I never saw a filet prepared this way. We didn't season it with salt or pepper or anything.
No.
It's just that sauce.
Right. Well, because the salt and pepper is in the sauce.
So basically, the sauce is just the pan drippings from the prime rib.
Correct.
Chef, I got to be honest, I'm a little bit leery because I'm used to sprinkling, rubbing that.
Well, this is something that distinguishes us from everybody else.
Andor, I'm going to trust you on this one. I figure since 1957 the restaurant's been here. They got to be doing something right.
Exactly right.
All right.
So now what I'm going to do is, as that's working, I'm going to crank up my pan for the pan-seared scallops.
Looks like a number 8 cast iron.
It is.
All right.
What I've done is I've sprayed it with a pan coating.
Pop Kessler would put bacon fat in there.
Bacon fat sometimes will hide the flavor of the seafood.
Chef, what about the scallops? Are you going to season those or?
Nope, I'm gonna go straight into the pan. One thing about a cast iron is because you constantly use it and you're not really washing it, so it's seasoned already.
First, no salt and pepper on the filet. And now, no seasoning for the scallops? Is Andor playing games with me? I guess we'll have to find out.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the scallop. You get that nice sear. They will break very easily, so you have to have a little bit of gentleness to it. Take this.
Oh yeah, here comes those sear lines. Beautiful. So now, Andor, you want to glaze the other side or no?
No, because if I try to glaze the other side, I'm gonna lose the crosshatch. I'm gonna lose the markings on it. That's part of the je ne sais quoi, of the filet.
And the scallops, you can overcook these guys and they could be rubberized.
Oh, absolutely.
Not here.
No.
After that, Chef Andor whipped up some broccoli, parboiled and cooked to perfection in a mix of chopped garlic and butter. Oh, yeah. The scallops came out of the pan and the filet off the grill. Then, boom, I had a surf and turf masterpiece.
Very curious about this. We're off to a good start. Anytime you can easily cut a filet with a butter knife, that's a good sign. That's tender, Chef. That's fantastic. A little scallop time. I doubted Chef back in the kitchen, but I'll tell you what, when in Wellsboro, the Steakhouse, and Chef Andor's technique of the way he prepares this, that's an A+ in my book. Show 'em my white pasty gut. Yeah.
Not far outside of Wellsboro, and located along historic Route 6, lies a chocolate shop unlike any other, whose main mission is to provide vocational training and employment to adults with special needs. I was excited to get inside and find out more about this one-of-a-kind operation.
Okay, Amy, Highland Chocolates. I love what it's all about.
We employ 11 people. Everyone has a special talent and skill, and they make all the chocolate that you see here by hand.
Well, it looks great here in the showroom, but I can't wait to get back there, get hands-on, and start making some chocolate. All right, Jay, what are we gonna be making here?
We're gonna be probably making a mess. That is our favorite thing to make every day. But we're gonna see some graham crackers that are coated, have some peanut butter fudge being made, and caramel being weighed out, as well as one of our most favorite barks, our Cherry Springs Dark Skies bark. This is your first job.
All right.
Todd, would you like to explain what you're doing?
Coating graham crackers.
You're coating graham crackers. The chain pulls the chocolate up here and drops it down so that it makes a nice curtain of chocolate.
Jay, just looking at this thing, it gets your taste buds salivating.
Yeah, I know. You want to have bold chocolate first thing in the morning.
Next, Todd took a little break and had me take over.
Just lay that little guy right down there. Give it some space. When do I hit it? Now, Jay?
Yep, you're doing great.
After that was done, we went to the other end of the line and met Mike, who was taking the coated graham crackers and packing them 2 by 2. I wanted to start eating these chocolate delights, but I figured I would play by the rules and lend a hand in the production.
I kind of hope I can do this. Now I can see, Mike, why you go one at a time. I'm struggling with 2. Yeah, you know what I'm going to do, Mike? I'm going to do your method one at a time here.
There you go.
Okay, I got it. There's my guy.
Yay.
Yeah.
How you like that?
I love those apples.
And the chocolate tour continues. Up next, creating some caramel.
Over here, we have another Mike today.
Another Mike, all right.
Yep, is weighing caramel and rolling it into a bowl, and then he's forming it into these little circular trays.
So what's the magic number we're looking for?
0.3 of an ounce. And there it is.
Guy's right on.
Yep.
So I weighed the caramel, gave it a roll, and into the tray it went to harden.
Good job.
Thanks, Mike. I'm going to turn it back over to the expert. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Then I dove into creating one of Highland Chocolate's staple products, the Cherry Springs Dark Skies Bark, named in honor of Cherry Springs State Park, a place that boasts the darkest skies in the U.S. east of the Mississippi and is a stargazer's paradise. So I spread out the chocolate nice and evenly for the sky, then added some stars and galaxy dust to bring it all home. There it is, baby. Then the bark went into the fridge to cool. Once it was set, it was time to slice up my own piece of the solar system. See the little starry scape right there.
Let's see what's going on with peanut butter over here.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing, Chase? Are you making the fudge?
You know, something about this place just brought me into the present. The fantastic aroma, the friendly faces of the workers, and the simple purity of making something by hand for someone to enjoy. It's moments like these where you find out how a small shop can play an important role in the bigger picture in your community. Well, ladies, I love the mission here, what you got going on here at Highland Chocolates. Thank you so much, and your employees, absolutely outstanding.
As we say, it's extraordinary chocolates by extraordinary people.
It's almost like you want to put your mouth right underneath this bowl.
Wellsboro is known as the town that saved Christmas, and I was curious about this statement and needed to find out more. That's when I came across a tiny museum that was just getting established. But let's not be mistaken, this tiny museum has many extraordinary stories to tell.
All right, Skip, here we are in Wellsboro, Main Street, and we got something special, don't we?
Yes, we do. Hitler was at war. There were countries that made glass Christmas tree ornaments. They were hand manufactured in Austria, Switzerland, Germany, but we couldn't buy them from there. All Christmas tree ornaments, 90% of them manufactured and sold in the world, were manufactured right here in downtown Wellsboro.
Growing up in the early 70s, this guy was on every Christmas tree and outdoor light, right?
Yes, that is a C7, and that's what set your Christmas tree on fire.
Yes,
They
that's
were
correct.
very hot, but before that, it was candles, so.
Yeah, you're better off with these. But I think the relatable thing is this iconic classic.
We had machines that were dedicated to making the glass for the Christmas tree ornament. We had an entire decorating department, and they silvered the inside and lacquer coated in many different colors.
Christmas tree comes down, you always save the box. You put the ornaments in, so these boxes lasted, and then they got passed down generation to
Yes, they did.
generation. And that's what just creates that nostalgia, all developed and manufactured right here in Wellsboro.
That's correct. If you have one of these boxes or a red one that looks like this, and down in the corner it says, "Save this cardboard," that's a World War II box. Very collectible.
Check those Christmas ornament boxes. Send us an email, let us know. Do you have it?
Wellsboro's glass industry also made light bulbs, including these theater bulbs that Johnny Cash famously smashed on stage at the Ryman Theater. And take a look at this incredible bulb.
And that's one from Thomas Edison's era, 1916.
Over 105 years old.
Yeah, don't drop that.
I'm so nervous now holding it. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay.
Next, Skip took me on a field trip to see the actual machines that were used to make the light bulbs and Christmas ornaments.
All right, Skip, we got the behemoths back there.
We do.
So those are the ribbon machines. I got some raw material right here.
Soda lime glass, and it's put into the furnace to be remelted.
So now that liquid glass comes down into the ribbon machine, and what are you holding here?
This is a piece of the ribbon. The glass stream is pulled through 2 rolls, and it forms a gob of glass. And then the light bulb is blown into a mold. The mold's open back up. The light bulb is still hooked, and it'll go through a cooling process, and a little mechanical hammer, boom, 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 just barely touches that glass, and it cracks it off from here. That delivers it to a conveyor belt and on through the annealing leer, then on down to packing or frosting or wherever it goes from there.
Skip, thank you so much. It's because of people like you preserving the history, saving these machines from the scrapyard, that future generations can learn from the history and the pride of Wellsboro.
Just outside of the town of Wellsboro sits a massive 50-mile-long, 1,000-foot-deep monster set in the spectacular Pine Creek Gorge. The Grand Canyon of Pennsylvania is a true wonderment of nature, and I was going to explore it via Old Cover Wagon Tours.
All right, here we are, ready to go into the canyon, anticipating the falls at the end of this trip. Apparently, we have a hike upwards. We're going to see what it's all about.
As we trekked into the bowels of the canyon, our tour guide Jim explained how in the early 1900s, the entire landscape was clear-cut and devoid of any vegetation. In an effort to restore the forest, the Civilian Conservation Corps planted 6 million trees by hand and restored the habitat back to greater health. Jim's grandfather was a part of the cause and would wake up every morning hiking up and down the mountain, scattering seeds by hand, which in time grew into the lush forest it is today.
Jim, we're up here at the top. Not only was your grandfather an integral part on bringing back the canyon and the forest, but you also grew up in these parts here.
Yes, I did. I spent pretty much my entire childhood down in the canyon here. This was an old Indian trail. We used to run up and down that trail back when we were kids, but not anymore. There was no steps or railings or anything. And if you happened to get caught down in here and a storm came in, it could get pretty dangerous down in here. There have been a lot of accidents. A few people have even lost their life around here where we're at.
You can hear it's just a power.
Oh yeah, big time.
I guess there's only one thing left to do. We got to hike back down, don't we?
Yes, we do. A lot easier going down than coming up.
After we made it back to the wagons, I took some time to meet a special team of workers who, without their help, this tour wouldn't exist.
We got our special guys that get us in and out. Tell us about them, Brad.
These animals can pull as much as a tractor and trailer, not as far, but they could pull the load at no problem.
True workhorses, I'm going to say.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Can I help you hitch them up?
If you'd like to, Nick, you can.
Well, you tell me what to do, because my horse experience is absolutely zero.
This is the horse, and this is called the horse's ass back here.
I see it. I'm not going to get kicked, am I?
No, you're fine.
Then Sharon, the wagon master, showed how it's done, parading these magnificent creatures back to the wagon. Now, it's my turn.
So what do I do?
So, you ever kissed before?
No.
Okay, practice kissing them. Give me a little kiss.
Oh.
There you
All
go.
right. Hey, okay. I know what you meant now.
If you want to go right, you're going to pull right. If you go left, you're going to pull left.
Okay. Got it. All right, so I'm going to pull a little slight tug left. How am I doing, Brad?
Good. You can hang to the right a little bit, and we're going to step them over the tongue.
Okay. Am I doing good?
You're fine. You're fine. I don't think we're going to hire you tomorrow, but
I wouldn't hire me either.
you're going to pull left, then over here. You're pulling both at the same time. Now you got too much.
Oh, I did?
Yep. How about if I hitch them up?
All right, you hitch him up. I messed things up.
Sensing things were going awry, Brad took it from there, hitching up our all-star steeds for the journey back. The Grand Canyon of Pennsylvania is a true gem within the Keystone State, a place that is rich in history, beauty, and life. And thanks to the people like Jim, his grandfather, and the rest of the folks at Old Covered Wagon Tours, it will be appreciated for generations to come.
We're in quite a pickle. I'm sandwiched back here.
Yeah.
You didn't cut, did you?
On my way out of town and in the next county, I heard of a museum that was right up my alley, the Pennsylvania Lumber Museum, whose main mission is to inform its visitors of PA's reckless lumbering past while learning to care for the forests of the future.
Josh, here we are. Pennsylvania Lumber Museum. What was Pennsylvania like back in the 1700s?
It's estimated that Pennsylvania was 90% forest. The name literally means Penn's Woods. It was estimated that 90% went down to only 30% of the state was left as forest. We talked not only about the rise of the lumber industry, but then also the rise of the conservation movement and the movement to bring these forests back and to sustainably manage them as well.
But you also have other exhibits out there that show how things were done. Let's head out there and check that out.
In our engine house, we have our Shay locomotive built in 1912. And the thing with the Shay is that it's a geared locomotive. It's almost like four-wheel drive. It's slower, but it can handle hills and uneven terrain. And this is what really helped bring logging to the railroad. So what we have here is our recreated lumber camp, kind of circa 1910. And even though the railroads were in, you still needed the horses to help get the logs down the mountains to the tracks.
The saw. filer.
They sharpen saws all day, almost every day.
Another critical one, the blacksmith.
Yeah, so these logging camps would be pretty out there in the woods. And it was helpful to have a blacksmith on site to help make repairs.
And lastly here, we got the jobber.
So the jobber pretty much ran the camp.
All this talk about lumbering and timbering and camps, we got to see the beast that sawed all this timber down. Like your fancy lock.
Yeah, it's high-tech security.
So Josh, here we are, the Big Daddy saw blade right here. The logs come in on this carrier, correct?
Yes, this saw carriage would move down and pick up the logs after they come in, get loaded onto here against the circular saw, which would spit out the cut planks.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. I mean, you put that in, you saw off your planks, drops on the roller feed table there, out it goes for air drying. And if you look at this saw blade, massive.
One of the advantage of the circular saw blades, those teeth can be replaced. You can just replace it and keep going and going.
The Pennsylvania Lumber Museum was the perfect stop before the long trek home, and their mission will preserve these Pennsylvania forests for generations to come. So buckle up and grab the wheel and get lost in an area worth discovering. Until next time, I'm Nick Kessler. Stay curious, my friends. Safe travels.